Good morning. I just want to acknowledge country. My name's Tim Croft Jangari. I'm a proud Gurindji man. My land is desert land, desert country. We're on saltwater country today, and I want to acknowledge the traditional custodians that our district sits on. That is Eora country, and here today I'm on Dharawal country. And I want to acknowledge and pay my respects to elders, past, present and emerging, and our connection to country, a country that gives us strength, gives us identity and belonging.
Okay, so Hill country, for me that means for us as blackfellas to have that connection to country and still be able to practice our culture and law without any kind of repercussions, and that is important in healing country.
Hill country means to me looking after Mother Earth, protecting her, taking care of her, just making sure she's able to provide for us like she has done for so many years, and hoping she'll be there for years to come.
First things that come to mind are only take what you need, only take what you need of the earth. For our culture, or for my belief, is that that our world and our culture come from Earth, Mother Earth, and the connection to Mother Earth has been damaged by destructive practices. First of all, ripping up grounds and not acknowledging significant sites, and all of those things, they all play havoc with our spiritualism, with our connection, and they take away part of our history. So we're never going to get those parts back, but it is a matter of acknowledging that we are First People here, and to only take what we need and walk with soft footsteps so that we're not damaging the earth, we're not damaging the people, and we're coming back together as a whole, not just part of communities, but all of community, so we can come back together and we can heal together.
To me, Hill country means reconnecting and strengthening my connection with country. I live quite a few 100 kilometres away from home, and I haven't been home for quite a while. So it's about finding somewhere locally that balances my spirit the way the lake out home does.
So to me, Heal Country means also healing our spirit. Connecting with country, I think, is a really important part of our mental health and well-being, and the two are really intertwined. So I think for me, I want to be connecting with the land that I'm from, but also where my country is, which is down the south coast, and helping others in our community do that as well.
Heal Country, I think it just means, to me, healing communities, family ties, keeping family ties strong. Yeah, just healing the communities, healing country, making sure the lands and all of our places our sacred sites are looked after and cared for appropriately.
Heal Country for me means talking to other people about Aboriginal culture and paying respect to the traditional lands. So that includes talking about it more often, and something I've started to do recently is to read my children Dreamtime stories, and a lot of those are around connection to country, so stories around rivers and the sky and people, and having conversation with them is a really nice part of thinking about connection to country.
Hill Country means to me, as a non-Indigenous person, how I can learn about the environment and how to look after the environment from people that have lived here for over 60,000 years. So I think there's a lot to be learned from our Aboriginal community.
Hill Country to me means supporting and encouraging our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander families as they travel through the healthcare system, and acknowledging their deep cultural beliefs and how we can incorporate that into our health system.
Hill Country means to me respecting the traditional custodians of the land and working together to make a difference in our social work practice.
This year's NAIDOC theme, Heal Country, is for me a time to acknowledge and celebrate the profound knowledge and connection that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people have to the land and country. For me, NAIDOC Week is such an important celebration of First Nations people and their rich culture. As a nurse, I provide healthcare to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people from a place of deep respect, aimed at healing in the holistic sense. To heal country means as non-Indigenous Australians, we have to acknowledge our past injustices and work to heal our future. I hope we have a future where these celebrations can be every day, not once a year.
Good question. I think from colonisation, the way Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people look at our country, it's in a way of caring for it. It's in a way of connection, and our stories and our kinship come from country and our communities. But from colonisation, Aboriginal people were worried about that, and more so now. I think they're more worried. The right to protect our country and our future and our culture is fundamental. Sorry to use some big words, but destruction and desecration of sacred lands are pretty obvious across our land. Some of the oldest human occupation sites have been found in spots across our nation. And when we lose those, it's an enormous loss for the nation, and also, I think, more broadly, the world. So talking about healing country, there's a lot to do. I think you'd have to be not paying attention to what's happened in the last couple of years to not see the devastation. And our land will continue to burn from bushfires, and droughts will continue to destroy our livelihoods. So without using those traditional practices, and we're seeing a bit more focus on this these days, without using those ways that have protected our country for centuries, it's a challenge. Since colonisation, there were no treaties, there were no formal settlements, and there were no way for Aboriginal people to show of how important this was for us. So we've heard the phrase, I don't know if you've heard it, but I'll say, Aboriginal people never ceded sovereignty to our land. It was taken away. And that will remain a continuing source of dispute because that connection to our country is so important for Aboriginal people. So to heal country, we must properly work towards acknowledging that truth-telling and redressing that injustice. So while we can't change history, we can tell the truth about our nation's past to help change the way that history is viewed. And I think after 250 years of colonisation, our people now and our children deserve that, and future generations deserve that. So if we're talking about healing our country, it's talking about healing people and healing our nation.